can seem very dry and it's very kind of deliberate. They're just marking different photographs and walking them through all the evidence that they've recovered. But something else I think is taking place here. And when the jurors are seeing photos of bullet holes right next to bottles of shampoo in a bathroom or a bullet hole in the dining room table of somebody's home, they're starting to realize, oh my, someone could have gotten killed by these shots. Had that person been taking a shower, had they been sitting down to breakfast, they easily could have gotten killed. And I think that's going to be a strong argument that the prosecution's going to try to make, is that, listen, he was reckless and it could have taken lives.
And, you know, you heard the voice change of the witness as he described, to your point, on the soap shelf, the fragment of the bullet when he said, you just, you know, to just see it sitting there, you never know where it's going to go or how it's going to change when it gets fired through something in terms of where it lands. It's fascinating to me. And the number of bullets, I must ask you, and I know we have to take a break, but I have to ask you this question. Are you surprised about the number of fragments that have been attributed to Hankison's gun all over the parking lot, the walkway, inside, and then also now we're learning about the neighboring apartment where the three victims were located, apartment 3, and seeing fragments there as well?
I think it sounds shocking, and I think to the jurors it will be shocking. I think his defense team is going to have to address that. They're going to have to talk about, I'm imagining that he was trained by the department that if they're going to open fire, they're going to empty out their rounds, and that can create lots of other debris and bullets going every which way, but that doesn't necessarily is indicative of him being so reckless, but that's going to be a really difficult argument for them to make. I think the prosecution has a strong case here.
Josh, I love hearing that perspective because that's a good point. And again, we talked about the witnesses have all described the number of people that were there, that they were knocking on the door. Nobody answered, using the ram to open the door 3 times. The door flies open, and then it was chaos. But the witnesses didn't really go to that extent and describe it. It was chaos and confusing. Instead, there were gunshots, they were loud. So, the jury has to put all these little pieces together to decide what happened and whether or not this defendant is guilty of a crime for injuries to 3 victims that were in a neighboring apartment with a common wall to Breonna Taylor. We know that Breonna Taylor was killed during this botched raid, but Hankison has not been charged with that actual crime. All right, Josh, what I've learned is Hankison is done for the day. The jury's being excused. They're done with testimony today. In that case, it's a perfect opportunity to take a break.